Hey everyone, this is the part 3 of The Stand. We also have a part 4 coming out next week, but I wanted to have a little bit of fun because we don't really have an intro for this episode because of the fact that we kind of just kept talking about the movie. So, with that said, I thought I'd jumble up a little bit of what everybody has said and edit a little bit of my own makeshift intro. Hope you enjoy.
Hey, wait a minute. What part are we on? Oh, yeah. Part 3.
Newsflash, Carmen Sandiego and Waldo found together, hiding out in Antarctica.
Is the Lindbergh baby there?
They were flown there by Amelia Earhart.
Did Amelia land her plane?
Will the fellas make it to Las Vegas?
Are you ready to party? Because we are beginning part 3.
M.O.O.N, that spells part 3.
Oh, my God. That's it.
That is the one.
Okay, so how are we going to start this one?
We're going to start it the way we always start it, Brock.
Done.
Okay. You're saying we're done with the episode?
No.
Yeah, take that, motherfuckers. Figure it out on your own.
So
what happened on the stand? You don't know because we're not going to tell you.
So basically we were done with the dreams and they had already left.
So they had met up at Glenn's house with Molly Ringwald and Parker Lewis and
episode 2 ends
Gary
when they're leaving.
Yeah,
Hemingford
they're
home.
leaving. Yes, Hemingford.
Okay,
home, yes.
so
leaving for Hemingford home, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they're leaving, but Hemingford home, all the people that already made it,
they
there,
already moving to Boulder.
They're already going to Boulder. So, and whenever this episode starts up, they are still traveling. Stu's group and Glenn Bateman, and they've already picked up some stragglers.
Correct.
Coming through, but they start the episode at the pool. Because they're in some indoor pool, and some dude has his appendix burst. But obviously, it's like Stu's taken over as leadership for everything. He's just kind of like a inherent leader.
So are we in Boulder at this point?
No, not yet. No, yeah, because this was on the way to Boulder.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm with you.
And was it that one, the blonde woman's husband? I don't think so, or it was just another traveler. Is what I'm thinking. And his appendix burst, and she's like, Stu, he's dead. Because how are you going to learn how to perform an appendectomy
right now? Let's do it. I'll do it right here on this table. Jump up here, Brock.
A for effort though, because his hands are like inside the guy.
Yeah,
and he's like, Stu, he's dead, and he's like, really? I had to do all of this for nothing?
I'm going to start free appendectomies right here on this table. I'll put a sign out front. People will have to wear a mask though for social distancing.
Well, Mother Abigail knows that there's going to be a lot of shit happening. They know they still got to get to Boulder. She's got to pick up her people. They're the first ones there getting into Boulder. They don't really show a lot of her group at first, They kind of show her getting like the house. It's like right there in a perfect spot on the street or some shit, and it looks like a typical Colorado road too. It looks like it's really beat up and fucked up. That's normal Colorado though.
Yeah. Welcome to Colorado roads.
Welcome to Colorado. At the very end of that episode, you get to see everybody kind of coming up around the bend, So they're still on their way, and they're making it there. But yet, Mother Abigail holds like a vigil almost. When anybody new arrives in the town, they all arrive in one big group.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is Nick's group already there?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they were part of the first group. Ralph Brentner, right. Nick Andros, and Patrick Starr. They all made it, and they made it to they made it to Hemingford home, and that's when they had the fried chicken, and it shows Tom Cullen back there playing the guitar. He's pretty good too.
M.O.O.N, that spells under the sea.
That spells guitar. And at the same time, Flagg's building up his Sodom or Gomorrah or whatnot, but he puts it in Las Vegas.
Well, of course he does, because that makes sense.
Yeah. So we've introduced all of these main characters throughout the first two. So you're kind of getting more into like what we were talking about last time, how it's a little bit more preachy at this point. You know, it gets very, 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 very religious and kind of like, this is like, I don't know.
Wait a minute. I'm really confused. The movie about the devil coming to Earth and taking it over is religious?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's weird. It's a
Out
Stephen King
demon
thing.
Spirits.
Yeah.
Down and thought.
Yeah, it's just weird. So, I mean, they're kind of starting over, which is, you know, of course, if this was, because it's only been like 2 months or some shit.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah,
it hasn't been that long. You know what I mean? It's almost been like as long as this quarantine. I think it's been a little bit longer. But you know, the title of this episode is a betrayal, right? So
some bad stuff's going to happen.
yeah, because some bad stuff is going to happen. You know, everybody's kind of in their right spot for this, you know. Everybody's there. They've kind of got it split off. They're pretty close. I mean, Las Vegas and Boulder, although, you know, a quarter way across the country, that's a lot closer than being coast to coast.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
What is that, maybe 14 hours, something like that?
Something like
12
that.
12 hours, something like that?
Yeah, straight through Utah and shit
I mean,
like
if
that.
you're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
No.
walking.
No, walking is like, they got there in like a day. It was a lot faster. Public transit.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, before GPS
Considering
and
the
shit like
average human being walks like 3 miles an hour.
that. Yeah, they were good. Carrying a guitar and shit. This one, yeah, I mean, Parker
Probably because
Lewis.
they had the dog.
But the whole issue of them rebuilding, we would naturally do that as a civilization that was still used to it. You would try to put roots down and try to have some semblance of life again.
I would definitely be playing the song "Root Down"
Yeah.
by the Beastie Boys.
Yes.
So I can appreciate that. But so is this where they're trying to get the power back on and all that jazz? Are we there yet?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty
or
much.
at least the
yeah.
start of it.
That both sides are, because they've already done it over there in Las Vegas. They've got the strip back up, and they've been
clearing off the dead.
Yeah, because people are like in fucking I don't what is that one? It looks like they were in like a teacup ride or some shit that fell off the roof or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Weird.
circus.
Yeah, something. I don't know what it. And that was like old Vegas too. You know what I mean? That was like 80s Vegas.
I've been to Vegas one time for 30 minutes to buy a sandwich.
Oh yeah, I've been one time, and it wasn't cool. I mean,
I was
I've
coming
been
out of
multiple
after.
times just because of the location of where I lived at one point, but
Yeah.
at the same time, totally different. It's like seeing Times Square way 30 years ago and now looks
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah.
It feels like that big of a gap almost.
and it seems like it's a smaller strip, but that's the old school. That's the old Vegas.
Old school Vegas.
Before it became a tourist trap. You know what I mean? It was a tourist
I think
destination.
it was already a tourist trap.
Yeah, kind of, but not like bring your kids.
I mean,
and
it's
shit.
no Branson, Missouri.
No, not even. Watch your
Country
mouth.
music Las Vegas of
Yeah.
the United States.
Yeah, country music.
That'd been
Las
awesome if
Vegas.
that's where he took up his making this right in Branson, Missouri.
Yeah,
That's where the devil sets up. Makes sense. A lot of country music religious folks there.
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean that would be the good side of the newsstand. They go to Branson, and the bad side goes to Vegas.
No good ever came out of Branson, Missouri, sir.
The cashew chicken. God damn it!
That's true. That's Springfield, Missouri.
I know,
though.
but it's really close.
It is really close.
They can accept it.
That's where the light. That's where the white sets up. Is in Branson. Is that what you're saying?
That would be the good. Yeah.
Yeah.
They go to Branson. That's my normal take on it now.
Yeah, I'm going away from that.
Or Six Flags Dallas.
They go to Boulder, Colorado, where there's nothing but hippies.
Yeah, and at that point there
Actually,
was like
at that point, it was the opposite.
yeah, it was bigots.
Yeah. Full of bigots. That's why they ended up filming in Garden of the Gods.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of bigots, a lot of bastards. So I mean, this is I mean, Nadine gets picked up too.
Yep.
She's already left Larry at one point.
So she shows up at Mother Abigail's house,
Right.
with that group,
Right.
and then Larry, of course, recognizes her.
Yes, and he's like, "Hey, is that Nadine?" Boy,
He likes him some Nadine.
but yeah, he's really not in love with her anymore because he found the feral kid and the other woman
Lucy.
at the other deal. Yeah, Lucy.
I believe that was her name.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and they kind of end up in Boulder, and they're part of the first crew too. you know. But then and she shows up and Mother Abigail is like easily like distracted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's like, who is this woman before me? She like has a Black Sabbath moment. And
she can smell the devil on her.
Yeah. And then Nadine just kind of walks away and then goes and picks out her house.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck, you know.
I like
what
that you can just go pick out whatever house you want.
Right,
That's
right,
pretty
right,
cool.
and not even redecorate it. You're like,
so
I'm
I
still
mean,
here.
you know, if Captain Trips hits, as long as we don't get hit, that's cool.
Done. Yeah, I'm moving.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm moving to the biggest house in the city. I'm not going back to my house.
I'm taking a bank.
Yeah. It's got a vault that I could sleep in. It's
That's
quiet.
Right. Ain't nobody fucking around in there.
Yeah, and a nice safe where it's just eerily quiet and it makes your ears hurt.
Safe.
Yeah. But yeah, and then the little kid comes up and she's like, "What do you know, Joe?" And she's like, "Yoink." Right. She's out, right?
Yep.
So I mean, you get the full committees and everything like that. Cuz I mean, they're starting to get the power back on. Even Glenn Bateman's like, he says that one phrase. They're all sitting there right before the power's about to come on, right? Drinking beers at the stadium or wherever the fuck they're at, right? And they're all kind of chilling out and he's like, "I don't really think we should do this.
Yeah.
Maybe we should leave it alone. This is the thing that got us where we are right now. Why don't we just forget it? Why do we need this shit?" Which is kind of almost...
Well, because Glenn's old. He's old school, so
Yeah.
he knows that you can live without that
Yeah.
stuff, you know?
And he sees, you know, and I don't think they really see that. They want the normalcy. Just
Right.
like you normally would. I
Right.
think you would naturally want that normalcy for everything, which is the crazy part. And, you know, they go in there and there's two people running the fucking power plant. You know, they're like, which buttons are green? Let's press those.
You know what's awesome is that we have more people running this podcast than we're running that power plant.
No shit, right? Yeah. And they're like, everybody got your flashlights on? Let's all gather in the place that could explode and let's turn it on. Cause they even come out and they're like, hopefully this will be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and Tom Cullen's freaking out, you know, he's like, oh, power. And, you know, everybody's like, oh, this is going to be cool. And then the lights slowly come on, but they've been off for a long time, you know?
Yeah.
Everything's been off. So you get to see everything turn on, all the fucking, blenders, and then like it turns into maximum overdrive.
Yeah, that's what I
for a
thought too.
second. Yeah, I mean it kind of goes a little fucking nuts there for a second, but then they do have that. You know, they got to clean up. I mean, naturally you would have to. There's going to be spots, and these bodies in a month have decayed like nobody's fucking business. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
You know, 2 months maybe.
2 months.
Well, let's say 2 months.
Yeah, let's say 2 months, but we don't know what that virus does to you in the long term. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And it looks like they've been there for a year, you know,
At
kind of
least 6
mummified.
months,
Yeah.
You know?
And it would stink, you know, the flies would be
They
everywhere.
did make a comment about that when they were still in New York. Larry's like, we got to get out of here. Just think
It's
about
gonna
what-
stink.
Think about what this is going to smell like in, 6 days.
Yeah, but in Boulder, I guess it's cool, so the bodies don't like.
Well, it wouldn't be as bad as New York City because there's one, not 12 million people.
Correct.
And two, you're right that there's not the humidity factor. Either.
Right.
So
So yeah, a little bit different. That's why they were picking up in Las Vegas, because that shit would have been. Well, the sun scorch in Las Vegas probably would have been pretty bad.
Yeah.
But there was not a lot of people in the casinos either, so it's like they cleaned Vegas up really fast.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, the bikers were like
well,
on
they,
it.
they definitely put like things together a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because
Well, they had to get the fountain right.
Randall Flagg knew what was happening.
Yeah.
he kind of had a head start.
Yeah, he knew what was going on. Right. But he's still influencing everybody's dreams at the same time too. I really find that, Glenn saying that is one of the kind of turning points to where you see that normalcy is never going to be there, but at the same time, why should it?
Right.
Why don't they learn from their mistakes, and just do something different? Because they go back to the way it was, and then shit starts happening again. You have basically Nadine starts influencing, what's his name?
Or not Stu, but
Parker Lewis.
Parker Lewis, yeah, who can't lose.
Starts giving him handy J's, I guess. I don't know what she's doing, that he's like, Nadine, you look so yummy. You know what I mean? It's like fucking creepy. And he's and he's such a dick to her too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a fucking asshole to her. I mean, he's getting handy J's all day, and he's like, shut up, woman. don't turn down my boogie fever. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck, man? You're a dick. You finally get a little something.
It's Harold, right?
Yeah, Harold. Yeah. Finally gets a little something, from Laura San Giacomo. And, you know, he's like, oh, you look so yummy. I mean, he's a fucking piece of shit.
Oh, he's terrible. And so he starts making a bomb.
Yeah. Cause they're about to betray because she's influenced the fuck out of him. Big time.
Well, he was already had a hate on for Franny and Stu's relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and he'd kind of uncovered that they were like kissing.
Yeah.
Right before that.
Right.
So it was like that perfect time for the devil to make that turn, if you will, you know, with him. So I think that's what you find in most stories is that even though the bad guy isn't necessarily evil, in that moment of weakness, that's when they prey on him and try to turn him to their side, you know?
Right.
Because obviously he's very jealous.
Susceptible to the influence, too.
Yeah, and that jealousy that's a powerful emotion.
He's been that way the whole time, too, because he's always in love with Fran. And Fran's like, ha, you're a nerd. I don't like you. Ha.
Look at my gums.
Yeah. So the whole
Come
turn,
on, Stu.
goddamn.
Sorry, I digress.
I'm sorry.
Well, see, I mean, this is kind of like you know, the semblance of, because they elect the council,
Right.
and home dude Harold is the one that's like, I move that we go ahead and, you know, elect all these people that are on the list. And they're like, and he's like, what do you think, Judge?
And at first, Harold's super pissed because he's not on the list.
Yeah.
Mother Abigail kind of discerned who was going to be the leaders. He's super pissed. He's bitching to Nadine about it. And but then you're right. When they're at the meeting in the church or wherever they're at,
the
town hall, whatever,
city hall or something.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's a big
He's
place.
like, yeah, I move. We go ahead and do it.
Yeah. And they look at the judge and he's like, Judge, is that all right? He's like, you're goddamn right it is. You know?
Thanks, Parker Lewis.
So they elect him, and that's when Nadine gives him the eyes, you know?
Yep.
She's like, hey, you want a handy J? And he's like,
doesn't she
sure.
break into his house?
Yeah, she makes him like rack a lamb, and they have wine.
Yeah.
And
which may be
cupcakes.
blood.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
There's some illusions there.
Yeah, it's something weird.
Tastes weird.
Yeah, because we find out that both of them at this point are virgins too.
Yes.
So we know that she's, you know, committed to Flagg.
Right.
But then she can't break that because she tried to get with Larry again because she was like, if we do it, then I'm free.
That was in her dream, right?
No, she actually goes to Larry, remember, outside of his house.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
and
okay.
she's and that's
he's already with Lucy and the feral kid.
Correct. Yeah. She's like, oh, if you just take me right now, then I don't have to go to him. And he's like, no, fuck off, woman. You know what I mean? Because he could
have fixed all this right here.
Yeah.
By cheating on his wife.
He could have done it.
Moral of the story, kids:
don't cheat on your wife.
If you cheat on your wife, you might save the world.
Don't listen to that.
Just kidding. Don't cheat on your wife.
Wait. Go back to what you were saying, Dan. What was that?
But they kind of had that relationship, and he has his disco music, and he's making that bomb downstairs because everybody's kind of living their best life at this point.
Yeah,
they have everything they want. They're barbecuing. That's the measure of life for me, you know.
Oh, you're barbecuing. Everything must be.
You're
good.
barbecuing, drinking beers with your buds, you know. And they actually got to take it seriously. So they got to think of a way, because what's going to really stop any of the other people from the other side of coming to attack them? That's kind of their whole idea behind, you know, what's coming up. They need to send spies. Because we don't know, or they don't know how many spies are over there. We obviously know Nadine,
right,
and then Harold now are the two that are on Flagg's side, right? So that's the crazy part, because they only have the two people over there, or Flagg does, but he's still influencing their dreams too.
Right.
A lot of people's dreams. And you know, they get together and they're like, okay, well, who are we going to send? And obviously, I mean, and this is it's a sad kind of a way to do it, but it's the smartest move that they could have made to send Tom Cullen, but not tell anybody else.
Well, that was the cool thing.
going.
So they had the 3 people, and they didn't tell any of them who the other people were.
Yes.
Very smart.
And they did, and Tom, they hypnotized.
Correct.
They hypnotized him to get into his brain and to influence him to come back when the moon is full.
Full, right.
Just to get information, just to see things and kind of be that one person that his mind wouldn't be influenced by Flagg. Because Flagg already knew who was there as soon as they got there.
Except for him.
Yeah, because it was the woman who, and the judge was on his way.
Correct.
They all went at different times, and then it was then Tom Cullen. And that's such a sad part. They're sending Tom off by himself, and Rob Lowe's like, this is like the best fucking thing. This is like the best fucking idea I've had this whole time, right? They got to send him off. Which
he doesn't say that because he's mute.
Of course. That's what he's saying in his head. He wrote down it on a piece of paper. See ya. And
later.
Later, dude. M.O.O.N. That spells goodbye. And I mean, it is kind of. It does kind of get you in the feels on that one. You're like, oh man, he's got to go. Because they know that there's a possibility of these people all dying.
Absolutely.
But they have to make that hard decision on that part of it. So whenever they finally get that done, they're all having a party over at whose house?
Actually, they were kind of getting all the committee members together. It was a committee thing. And that's where we find out that Harold put the boom.
Yeah.
He put the boom in
the boom
closet
boom.
in Nick Andros' closet, right? Or not I don't remember what house they were in.
Yeah, it might have been
I don't think it was.
The blonde lady's place or something like that. But cuz Nadine sneaks it in. She's all fucking being like a little ferret and shit.
Yeah.
She puts it in the closet under a flag. Oh, get it?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, she sneaks it in after sneaking up the porch and everything like that. They get everything kind of ready to go.
It was in Franny and Stu's house.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay. Because there was a piano there. And then Nick gets a flash because Mother Abigail at this point has already done her walk in the wilderness. She just took off.
Yeah, she just left because she thought she was being prideful.
Correct. She decides, you know what? I need to go with the clothes on my back and my cane and get the fuck out of here and take my walk with Jesus. So we don't know what happened when she was out there.
She came back looking a lot older.
Yes, a lot older. And
I mean, she's 108 or 6 or whatever.
Yeah. She was beat the fuck up because she was living out in the wilderness. What was she eating? You know what I mean? Bugs and bread and whatever she took in her pockets. Huh? Did you say chiclets?
Yes.
Oh. I was thinking that she might have taken those butterscotches.
She probably had a bunch of butterscotches in her apron.
Yeah, peppermints and butterscotch and those little strawberry candies.
As one does, yes.
Yeah. When you hit 108 years old, keeps your mouth dry, or from being dry. So yeah.
So they like all the committee members get like that message, that's going on. But Nick is the one that he goes right to it.
Goes right to the bomb because they all know because she's coming back at the same time that's happening.
Right.
So she's walking in, the little feral kid runs up to her and is like, Mama Abby, Mama Abigail, or whatever, and they kind of grab her because she's 4'2" anyway.
Right.
And so they get out just in time.
Most of them do.
Pretty much.
There's a few of them that die in the explosion, and then of course Nick.
Yeah.
Andros
is the hero.
Yeah.
He's there, but yet he becomes kind of more or less. I'm not going to say a prophet, but more or less another angel kind of a character.
He becomes a force ghost.
Yes, for real, 100%. Yeah. So he could talk to Tom.
Yep.
Kind of in the deal, but that's whenever at that point too, they've already done all of their infiltration. The one woman gets busted because she's sleeping with Miguel Ferrer.
Right.
But she's got that lace gown and she has that fucking knife up her sleeve and shit. And she kills herself.
Right.
Because Flagg's like, I just can't see the other person in my head. All I see is the moon.
Right.
You know, he's like, who is it?
And she impales herself on that glass, dude. That's hardcore.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking
I was
crazy.
like, damn.
Yeah.
'Cause it takes a lot of resolve to do something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
She was like, this is not going to happen. I'm going to do it. You would think that she would almost jump out, but that was a pretty brutal death scene too.
Yeah.
I mean, she goes crazy because he goes nuts too. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah. His face melts and then kind of reforms.
Not the best
No.
special
No.
effects. What do you think, Mitch?
I don't like gore. So, no, I mean, it was a really brutal in a weird, because this, like, part of the movie, this whole, like, not movie, I guess. What do you call it? Series. This weird series has moments where it goes really like, what is it called? Lifetime movie, right?
Okay.
And then
Sure.
it pulls this crap where like impaling and like blood and like crazy and yeah.
It
I think
does.
it's weird how it flip flops.
It does make a weird turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I missed my turn, but hold on.
Yes.
I'm going back. And you know, I mean, Nadine is still kind of committed because at the end of this episode, Nadine and Harold are driving. She's driving her pink moped and he's driving the fucking, you know, Kawasaki Ninja, right?
Right.
They're going through the Colorado or Utah hills or some shit like that. And Flagg steps out in front of, Harold and he goes flying the fuck.
Flying.
Yeah.
And I don't understand the physics there because he flew a long way, but then like when you look over the hill, he's not really that far.
Yeah. He's like 2 feet away.
Well, maybe not 2 feet,
Yeah, I know.
but yeah, I mean, it just didn't make much.
Yeah.
Like somebody didn't do their physics homework on that one.
Yeah. And then Nadine's like, I'm sorry, Harold. You said it yourself. We're damned. And that's a pretty weird. She just like leaves
She
him.
just leaves him.
He's got broken legs,
Broken
ribs, arms. He's all fucked up. You know, God knows, you know, what else is wrong with him. And he's laying at the bottom of that fucking rocky cliff. It's just, it's gross.
Well, and then right before that, isn't that the part where she tells them that they have to, those 4 dudes have to walk to Las Vegas?
Pretty much, yeah. And it's, I mean, because they know the judge dies too, because that's a part.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Raimi and some other dude are sitting in a bar somewhere playing fucking gin or something.
Yeah.
And they're waiting for the judge, and he's like, "Don't mark him. I don't want his face marked at all. I don't care what you do, just don't mark him." You get to see the savagery of Flagg at that point too, because he kind of appears out of nowhere after they shoot the judge.
Well, because the one guy fucking goes crazy, kills his own guy,
Yeah.
and shoots the judge in the face.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sam Raimi goes nuts at that point, and yeah, but they shot him in the face on accident.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. So a Flagg comes through and like he appears as a crow, and then like he comes back out of it and he like eats him or something.
Yeah, he like Beastman's on top of him. And just
Yeah, starts eating him, and then he's standing out in the rain. He's like, you know, got the judge, but he's marked and blah, 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 you know, so they kind of have that deal. Mm-hmm. But like you said, right before, it's right after Nadine and them escape.
right.
Right before the end of the episode, they know that they got to send some people out.
Well, because isn't this where she pretty much dies, right?
Mother Abigail?
Yeah.
She
Passes.
she has a main committee there, and she says 4 of you must go. Just take the clothes on your back. This is what he told me. And you're going to go confront this evil.
Right. But really, there's 5 of them because of the dog.
Oh, that dog's not a
The
human.
dog saves people.
Yeah, he does. He does. Fuck the dog. But
Damn.
yeah,
Damn.
but
No love for the canine species.
yeah. So we have that again towards or at the end of it. We have those 2 factions. You know, Nadine heading there. Because you
Right.
don't know what's in store for her.
Yeah, Nadine's on her way to Vegas. She's left Harold at the bottom of a ravine, all jacked up.
And those people are on their way.
And so you have Glenn, Larry, Stu, and
Ralph. Yeah,
So those 4 are making their trek to Las Vegas as well.
that is correct. And what's the timestamp right now? Mitch, write this down.
Okay.
42
Write what down?
minutes.
Write down 42 minutes because that's the transition to the next episode.
Okay.
Okay.
Waiting for the next episode.
So
Smoke weed every day.
sorry. So the next episode starts with them on their way, right?
Everybody's on their way somewhere, just like they were a couple episodes ago, except now they're going different places.
Now they're actually going to confront Flagg.
In lots of wages.
Mm-hmm. And they've always alluded to the dreams of seeing people hanging and weird stuff, people getting crucified, everything like that. So their original lineup is the spies that they sent. The only one left is Tom Cullen, which he saw whatever they were doing with that jet in the fucking hangar, right?
Well, and we should probably just a little background, because allusion through the last episode and into this is that he's basically using old nuclear armament. He's going to take out Boulder. Is
it nuclear though? Because because Trash Can hadn't gone to the nuclear facility, but they did have some major weapons.
Yeah, so that was the idea, that they were supposed to bomb Boulder.
That's what I was thinking too. And because they have some major armaments, and it seems like they're loading the same missile on that airplane. And
you're absolutely right that he didn't get the nuclear portion of it until later.
Yeah, because
he sets a bomb on the the jet.
Yeah, that's how he gets out to go to the nuclear stockpile.
And I think it's what's really cool about this is that Trash Can Man the whole time, Randall Flagg's like, yeah, I really feel like a kinship with him. But coming around to the end of this episode, we'll talk a little bit more about that, because he's also very counterproductive for him.
Oh yeah.
Like blowing up the hangar where he had this plan to happen, you know, and then a little bit later, of course. So, but in a way, isn't that very much like Randall Flagg?
100%.
Like he doesn't really, work for people.
No, no, he works for himself. But we get to see Nadine's journey come to an end at the beginning of this episode.
So she's come to the end of the road.
Well, she's in for a surprise.
She is. She's gonna get the beast dick.
Yeah, no shit. She's gonna get some beast dick. So yeah, no, it's fucked up.
So yeah, she's like walking along. She's not to Vegas yet. She sees a sign. I think it says 35 miles.
Yeah, she's in the Badlands.
Yeah,
basically in the desert.
Of course, she gets the beck and call in her brain from old Randall Flagg there. Yeah, and he's got a nice campfire set up for him.
He's got a campfire, an old beat-up mattress, a couple of sleeping bags.
As you do when you're a trashy person trying to hook up with somebody out in the Badlands.
He's like, I found us in an old trailer house. They're still good.
All the romance she wanted.
Yeah, we could do this right here. And so, of course, he impregnates her, and she's like, no. Which,
it's not true. I'll never join you.
Yeah.
No,
so
that's not what she says.
No.
She takes it.
Yeah. Well, she's like, no, stop, get off me. And he basically,
has his way.
Yeah. Takes his time. And he's an evil piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
So we know now who is digging her man.
Yes.
Not Nadine.
Well, and I think that's the great thing when they're leaving, like going into Vegas, and he's singing that, which is Larry's song.
Yeah.
It's just so awesome.
It's fucked up. Yeah.
Baby, can you dig your...
And he's into it too.
He's a righteous man.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. And he has to introduce her to everybody, and she's just like covering herself. And like,
she's all freaked out.
And he's like, newlyweds.
Yeah, he's...
What the fuck, man? And then, that's where, because Trash does blow up the place and he escapes and they don't know where the fuck he's at, right?
Right.
So Flagg kind of freaks out a little bit, but yet they go upstairs. It's still kind of, he's in the penthouse, which has no fucking bed in it. Is it just like a penthouse office? I don't know what it is.
Well, and on their way up, we get the batshit crazy girl that met Tom Cullen and Nick Andros because she saw Tom Cullen.
Correct. She knew who the spy was.
Right. But Miguel Ferrara doesn't tell.
Yeah.
Because, well, Randall Flagg's a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
So you pick and choose when you could say.
Yeah,
right?
or when you
he
could
shuts
talk.
him down. He tries to tell him and he shuts him down.
He's like, no, I got some information from you or to talk to you about. And she's like,
And he's like, later, just come up later.
Yeah.
You know?
Just come up and talk to me later. We're going to go have breakfast. So... she's freaking out, and she says, "We're all damned." As soon as like the fucking doors close,
elevator doors are shutting.
Yeah. And she looks all happy to say it. It's fucked up. And then
she was raped by the devil. She's probably not in her right mind, maybe.
No, I mean, it drove her crazy.
Or not necessarily the devil, but
yeah.
whatever.
It literally drove her crazy to start having Satan's baby.
Right.
Or whoever Randall Flagg is.
Right.
So, I mean, we get to see them traveling.
Taste my demon penis.
We get to see the other four start traveling, right? And they're having a good old Stephen King montage time. You know what I mean? Like from It, you know, they're almost like stopping at Chinese food restaurants and having a fucking, you know, a party to old 50s music or something. But yeah, you get to see them, and they've been walking for a while because they got beers now. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And they're just stopping to eat and stopping to sleep. And it's still, nothing's really rotten. You know, there's still dead people everywhere, but you don't see a lot of it. And the road is clear there. And this is where they get to that little gap.
That ravine?
Know? Yeah, the
where
ravine.
The highway is like blown up or something.
Like it got washed out.
Like there was a bridge there maybe at one point, and it got, like you said, got wiped out.
They said that it must have been a flood and washed it out. Okay, cool. So, you know, Glenn runs down after the dog, you know, and he's like, yay, and they're all like high-fiving and shit, you know, and Stu does it too, and they're like, yeah, you know, they're having like I said, a Stephen King montage moment. Yeah, I know. It's like
so you had the old man gets around like the fastest. He's like, he doesn't even care.
Yeah.
He's like, fine.
I would have.
Glenn's like, I can climb this. No problem.
You know, there's a hardware store around there somewhere. They could have easily found a ladder or two. You know what I mean?
Just a rope.
Some. You know, I mean, wouldn't have taken that much.
I would just climb down it and climb up it. Apparently, Stu's got really fragile legs.
He's got butter feet.
Butter feet.
You should just listen to the old man and get some like some of those Skechers shoes with the really extra padding. You know, that's the only reason he's okay.
The shape-ups?
Yeah, the old guy's like cruising. He's just like Skechers for life.
For some reason, when you said Skechers, I thought you meant like Heelys, and they should just like try to jump it, like
just get in a car and go really fast. And we're like, we're gonna make it.
No, just the Heely shoes with the little. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
They'll just push everybody with the car as fast as possible.
No, you can't do it.
Balance on your heels. My arthritis hurts.
I just want the old guy to have those grinder shoes where you can like grind the edges and all that.
Grind rails.
Look at my grind. My hip.
Well, yeah, Stu gets to the top because he's like, oh, look, it looks pretty clear. And come on.
And then why didn't he get all the way like a root that's not attached or not completely, and which could happen. I've been there, done that, but climbed a lot of stuff. And
me too.
I don't feel like, anyways, whatever.
Yeah. So he falls and breaks his leg, like compound fractures the motherfucker.
Yeah, like breaks it badly.
And like it's out of his genes and shit. You know what I mean? So they're like, well, we're boned. You know what I mean? And so of course they're there for a couple of days, but then you kind of go back to Nadine and Home Dude in their penthouse too. I think they did do a break right there.
Yeah. And one thing real quick before we move on to that, one thing we didn't mention is that, like right before she gets called to him, Harold actually kills himself. They show Harold write out a note, I was misled.
Yeah.
And then blows his brains out.
And and Stu can taste the gun oil in his mouth.
Yeah.
He can feel that.
He knows that it's happened. That's why they're still walking.
Yeah.
So I thought we ought to mention that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Parker Lewis can indeed lose.
So he was technically a good guy.
Yeah, he was. Well, I don't think he was ever necessarily a bad guy. He was more like a tool that was used. You know what I mean?
But nobody else felt it.
That's
and
true.
Nobody felt any of the other bad people dying. So he must have been, you know, he repented at the last second. You know what I mean?
Right.
Which maybe I'm wrong because Nadine and
what a friend we have in Jesus.
Yeah, Nadine and Flagg are in the penthouse, and she's like, "You'll never have this baby," and she gets on the side of the deal, and she's like, hanging out, and he's like, what are you doing? Hey, don't get close to the edge. And then she jumps.
So is that before or after Miguel Ferrar's interaction in there?
Because
he comes in and is like, oh, yeah.
That was after.
After?
Yeah,
okay.
That was after. Yeah, so, I mean, they kind of, I'm pretty sure it was like right at the same time.
Right around
It was like
there,
right in there, yeah. And she falls to her death and takes his unborn, you know,
seed.
Yeah. And he's sitting there like, oh, don't freak out. Oh, man. I'm not going to freak out, man.
He's watching.
We're already almost there.
Yeah. Oh, just a few more days and then I'm cool. Yeah. You know,
so. See, it affects you. It's nothing. I didn't even care about him.
I didn't even know his name.
I didn't love her. She wasn't my girlfriend. But like,
that baby was mine anyways.
Yeah.
Take that, Larry.
So you could see Flagg's world unraveling at this point.
Right.
But he knows that the other four are on their way. Mm-hmm. They know. So they actually do get to that roadblock. After that, the three of them, Ralph, fucking Larry, because they decide to leave Stu back there. And
Stu, the dog stays with Stu.
Because it's Kojak.
Yes, Kojak.
Because Kojak doesn't want to leave, So he's got the flu, he eventually starts getting the cough and the flu because his immune system's all fucked up, so it still does affect him.
Well, a broken leg will do that to you too.
Yeah, it was a seasonal cough, Allergy cough.
I'm going to die from the flu.
So he's like, ain't this the shit? I'm going to die of the flu anyway. And while he's eating a rabbit, how did he catch the fucking rabbit? Or was it the dog?
It's probably the dog. That's why the dog stayed, because God told it to feed.
There you go.
Just like the crows with
feed your human.
Elijah down in the river.
Like the crow?
Yeah.
Oh, the crows.
Yeah.
Okay, not the movie. Okay.
Read your Bible, sir.
Mitch is a Bible.
Genesect 321 said... Wait, what are you guys?
We're talking about the Book of Eli, right?
The Book of Eli, yeah.
Chapter 12.
With, Sylvester Stallone and that one guy.
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
And the bananas.
And the bananas.
Sand bananas.
Make a return.
They come up upon the old cop, and he's like, by the order of the power invested in me.
I think the best thing, if that would have been the warden from Cool Hand Luke.
Oh, that would have been nice. That would have been cool. Yeah, he's like, hey, listen, son. They're unarmed.
What we've got here.
Yeah.
Failure to communicate.
They're all sacrificing themselves. They know they have to, so.
Yeah, they just laugh at them.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, because they're like, you got the Rat Mans there.
Yeah, he's all the Rat Man.
Yeah. But yeah, they're just like laughing at him. They're like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, they don't have to do anything to him. They don't have to be rough. They don't have to be mean. And Larry's even like, listen, dude, we'll get in the back of your car. Just leave. Just fucking chill out.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're mean. I'm in a biker gang. And they're armed to the teeth, and they end up bringing them back. But see, Tom's already left because he saw the moon.
Right. He saw the full moon of popping.
And he starts going through the desert, kind of escaping shit. How does he come upon those people sitting in the middle of Ogden, Utah or some shit? You know what I mean?
Well, because he's on his bike, right?
Yeah.
The whole time.
He travels at night.
He can be pretty stealthy on a bike.
Yeah.
And then he saw the fire. He probably wanted to see who it was. And,
yeah.
And then almost kicked a little dirt.
And then guess who's there? The guy that killed the three people on Twilight Zone. The director, American Werewolf in London.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's there. He's at the campfire.
Okay.
Sitting.
I just didn't recognize him.
And they're all talking about leaving too.
Right.
I mean, they're all like, well, maybe we could just leave. And it's Flagg, and he sucks.
Well, and they have a conversation earlier, and I believe it's Larry or Glenn. I don't remember which, but I think it was Larry. He was like, your people are already, maybe it was Glenn actually.
Glenn talks to him. Yeah, your like, people are already leaving.
They're already talking about deserting you, blah, 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 blah.
Because she knows, because the other, like the third dude in charge comes up to Miguel Ferrer and is like, yo, we're thinking about leaving.
Yeah, which was, and it's just weird about his character. Because he's like not going to turn him in.
No.
He's like, yeah, do your thing. That's fine.
Yeah. He's like, he fed me.
Yeah, but I've got, my loyalties here.
Yeah. And he's a very honorable person, even though he doesn't want to at this point. Because he's already seeing the writing on the wall. He's a smart dude. Somewhat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, the other dude's like, maybe we'll go to an island somewhere. He's like, what island? Well, any island. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or they were going to go to South America or some shit like that. But and Tom almost gets caught but yet he's still kind of on his way back. And that's, I think at that point too, that's whenever Flagg does talk to Glenn Bateman.
Yeah, because he's got Glenn separated from Ralph and Larry.
Because he thinks he's the weakest one, probably, or the strongest one, however it is. And he starts making his arthritis act up, and he's like, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? He's like fucking laughing at the face of, the devil.
Right.
And it pisses him the fuck off. And he's like, fuck it.
Yeah, and Lloyd's there with him.
Yeah.
Which Miguel Ferrer.
Yeah, and he ends up shooting him.
Yeah.
That's a pretty...
And you see it on his face. Like, he doesn't want to do it. Well, he stops, too.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it.
Yeah, he's like, shoot this man. He's like, no. So he's like, I'm sorry, old man. And then he shoots him in the stomach. So then
and Glenn starts kind of prying at his inner... being, his heart, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Lloyd gets a little pissed off. He's like, I know I'm a dick.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do. So, yeah. So Glenn's dead. He's the first one dead.
Yep.
And then he wants to make an example out of the other two. So Ralph Brentner is under him, I guess. I guess they're in a different ward, right?
Right.
And so is Larry. And they kind of hold hands, and they know the end is coming. But they know their sacrifice is not going to go in vain. So that's, again, where it gets a little more religious as the minutes go by on this one,
Right.
My life for you. All right. The end is coming near. End part 3.
Will Randall Flagg succeed? Or will the hand of God save them all?
Tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hey, next time you get that Christmas wish book from Sears, why don't you look and hook up a brother? What the fuck was that?
Hook up a brother?
And
Hey.
hook up a brother.